shells,
You
kills.
entered the black light, exited the back. You entered the black light, exited the back.
Yo, we back again. If you throw it in the towel, then you back in sin. We need the Holy Spirit, please let the chaplain in. Here at the front door, chilling with a childish grin. We can now begin. Now the truth be told, we're riding on the light to let the youth get old. And following the one that will soothe your soul and take your bad situation and improve your role to release your flow. It's a long stretch to loosen all the nooses from the baby's necks. And tell the young ladies they should save the sex. And tell the young guys not to break their neck for the place of sex, but get the paycheck. And real women really don't play that. A wise lesson learned really way back. I used to okay that. The Lord saved me, Jack, from a life of whack. Come on.
Entered the black light, exited the back.
Oh,
You entered the black light, exited the back. You entered the black
you might want to start paying attention on this next verse.
You entered the black light,
Give
exited
me
the
your
back.
attention for a minute. Damn. Come on. We from the same cut, but playing different positions. A top secret message got the president attention. Do what you do, just make the good folk listen. And trust me, yo, it's not about who you kissing. There is a plan to see you chewed up and shit out. The devil's burning red from the fire that we spit out. We on to get up, the hell with that down low. Cherish the gift of the wisdom that we found, yo. Still on the mission with the daily agenda. Your head's been cloudy, so I doubt you to remember that I walk with the king of kings beside me. Just like the root in India, I read. I volunteer, know the Lord didn't hire me. It is the spirit that inspired me. Water of life to show the chief where the fiery. We have no time for those that be acting grimy. You see the light now? Boy, I've been talking to y'all for a while. You see, you thought this was for like some type of game. Man, revolution. Yeah. When you free your mind, your ass will follow. That's for real. And some of y'all locked up so bad, don't nobody have to put chains on you. Hell, you chain yourself down mentally, spiritually. Come on, free your mind, dude. You a king. Free your mind, chick, you a queen. Let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean, Caribbean. Yeah. Yes, bounce to this. I'm just a black man, title, yo, give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And what you figure, Mr. Man, while you kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat. You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, or Jill will get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the idle cats. It's deeper than taps and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the spoiled rats. So you can fold up or either you can fold back. I hold no judgment over those that have chose crack. Terror over habit that has been proven to hold back. With God on your side, you can get your soul back. Yeah. We need some 3 parts on this, man. So, I can't carry my boys at chorus. Come on, line up. Yo, we need y'all 3-part harmony on this. I don't know how you can work it out, but work it out. Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is. What is it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Get to the room, you feel a certain mood. You might lose Bless your hearing from the sonic boom. Out of the mouth is a sword and I'm taking you out. You try to stop me and I'm faking you out. Man, I wish I had an apprentice to build this work. Collaborate on synthesis. And I hope you remember this. Keep your enemy near to you. Far away, keep those that are dear to you. I hate beer, but I used to drink the brew. Heavily into the little habit turned deadly. I used to have a bud every day and all week. Intoxicated to the point where I couldn't hardly speak. So do the knowledge, that means hold your head. Let the past stay dead and keep a level head. And don't be misled. Remember most of what I said. I'm hot like dimes in a rock, but you got us hot when working on the block.
By the end of the night, how deep this music is. When does it rob the man to gain the world and lose your soul? Hope you can see by the end of the night how deep this music is.
Stop fronting, yo.
What does it rob the man to gain the world and lose your soul?
Mike's handed, I'm speaking candid. Understand this is the way that the masses demand it. I have wisdom, but God planned it. General media panned it. I blow flows on beaches and make you wonder where the sand went. The Taliban spent more times in design to destroy cities. My rhymes inspire minds. I'm known as Big Papa, but I ain't your daddy yet. But I could be your bro if you could get the concept. There be many that stand whenever I rip, but it's devastation whenever I rip. I spit flows that hit like mouth on tits. Straight legit. You fake rappers need to understand that feeling me.
I'm outside about hopefully about, it'll take me long, about half hour. I think it might be good information for everybody. This is salmon, onion, garlic, spinach. You saw I just put sesame, which is seaweed, in there. 7 spice, a little bit of cayenne. I made the fish with, and then bell peppers again, and mushrooms. 2 different kinds. Oyster, mushroom, lion's mane.
So take your position. Don't you know you are part of that scripture, yo?
Look at that.
Yo,
Fish stew.
you didn't get in the way and bitch and knock you down. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Bring the light, yeah.
Look at that. Oyster mushroom.
Baby. You know what it is.
Oh, and green beans.
Listen.
Green beans.
I'm known to tell you to fight back. There's no need to sell crack just to live fat. Why don't black superstars simply give back when they know it's a struggle just to live black? Can you picture that, Mr. Aristocrat? I'm coming from the bottom, rising to the top. And conscious is the tone on the CDs I drop. I won't flip-flop like a black bass, but I will put a message in the song before I hook your ass. See, we first class living, worse than slaves of the earlier days. And we adapted the ways of the slave master. I stand upon it, the very rock which put your people in bondage just to get 100. The big face kind, and it don't matter if it's making people lose their freaking mind. That's why I'm speaking mine, hopefully to change yours. To pull you out of these streets from these drugs and strange whores. Huh. It's like we died inside, no longer having pride. We're still for rides, a new skill to hide. And like the red tide, go and get our heads dyed. Rebel against the laws in the cities we reside. Sleep the circumstance, though our eyes open wide. Fail to exist, let alone coincide. Eat chicken many ways, but prefer it fried. Like your man on death row when his relatives cry. It's death a mistake because somebody lied. And we can only pray that Christ is by his side. Convicted on the statement implied with no proof. Now will the warden cry that he killed another youth? I truly doubt it, that's why we stay in the booth. Just cause it ain't enough, we should demand and show proof. And if they overlook our voices, then we raise the roof. Which one of y'all do? nigga to treat your people. Being that I feel like I'm a slave, maybe slave, you know, I made a serious mistake.
Four is good enough number to start with. De Jiao Hao. And you can get in the tones. Hello, everyone. De Jiao, de, da. It's actually, I pronounce it different, but I'm still learning. Da, as in D-A, Jiao, Hao. Like ni hao. What you don't know is like when you, like hello would be at the end. How. De Jiao, everyone. De Jiao, Hao. Hello, everyone. Like you say ni hao. Like hello or shishi, you know, like I guess it's relevant or it's good. But anyway, I once wanted to read some stuff. I said I wanted to read something, and reason wise, I figured I really want to read some more things that may be assistance of enlightenment. I don't. My knowledge is knowing, but I've come to the conclusion not everyone's going to get it. Some people are going to get it because they're going to purchase the books and they're going to see things, and they're going to have a realization, and they'll be able to deliver it. You know, like 8 million stories in New York. You know, 8 million ways for it to be delivered. Never say no. So I said, well, I can read this and entertain you guys. That means like to entrap you to have to be reprobate. That means to be repetitive. So that way it will allow something to open where you'll see things around you that will help to increase the knowledge of self. So that way you won't deny it. Based on my lucid dreams mean in my existence that I'm not going to come across to everyone in a way that is becoming, or is fanciful, or is enlightening, or is a delight, because there are a lot of without saying selfish. Anyway, there's a lot of people who feel a certain way, and my thing is, we're obviously in a very important time. All time is important, yet I would enjoy to be able to endure what comes from those of you who come into realization, and the fact that when I said every one of you give power to negative things, I was not playing. And I can feel it drains. It's draining. It really is. Because I don't have time to. I am attempting not to say I don't see how y'all do it, yet I empathize and I sympathize. I know how it's being done. But I don't know how people don't make the choice to remove themselves. Without going any further, I'm just going to read, as you see, the book, The Power of Now. Some of you may have read it. Some of you may have purchased the book. But there's a difference between reading it and comprehending what you're reading. Okay? I'm not saying that I am going to be the here-with-tooth that'll make you or have you have a deeper understanding of it. But hopefully the things that I've highlighted in this book that I'll read every day, because believe me, I've got a whole lot of highlighting up in here. There's even chapters I didn't highlight nothing because I didn't find it. Just because I didn't find it actually worthy. I mean, it's stuff that you can see everywhere, every day. I mean, it just goes on and on. I've got, especially in the back of the book, I was laying up in the bed, and I actually brought out 3 different colors to highlight, because even for me, dissolving the collective female pain body, that was powerful in itself. And so I used yellow, beige, and the pink highlight with asterisks and bullet points, so that way I'm aware of what it is, and that I don't have to read it verbatim, that I can actually jump to the 3rd one and then come back, circle around to the second maybe paragraph. And I believe, after talking to some females over the period of time that I've been reading this, where it may have some resolve, or they may find resolve, and further internalize things, not internalize, but look deeper inside to not internalize things that are fictional, no matter what came from it. Okay, so this is a book. I guess it was on New York Times bestseller. That just doesn't go away, even if it's not now. That means it reached its pinnacle as far as New York Times bestseller. The Power of Now: A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment, with a new preface by the author, Eckhart Tolle. T-O-L-L-E, Eckhart. You should know how to, the flying woman, Eckhart. It's the same thing. All right, E-C-K-H-A-R-T. I wonder if they bring me some books. It's about time anyway. Anyway, one of the best books to come along in years. Every sentence rings with truth and power. So that's Deepak Chopra, author of The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. So, and I have that book. I'm just not going to read that. This is more, I'm not going to read everything. I'm going to read the highlighted, the asterisks, and the bullet points. It's not a lot. So I'm going to get right into it, and I may explain something, or I might just allow it to marinate and see what you come up with. Because I'm going to read from this book every day. Just a little, okay? Just a little bit. Hey, baby girl Slaughter. What's going on, beloved? I got you. Okay. And nobody else wanted to say hi? All right. So let's get it in. Now, the truth that is within you. All right. So that is part of this. This is pretty much still introduction here. But I feel this is important. I'm not going to give you the whole quantity of it all, like some kind of bad drug. But I just want to give you the things that I found to stand out. People who are reaching a point where they become capable of breaking out of inherited collective mind patterns. Let me repeat that. I'm going to repeat a few things. I really want you to pay attention. Okay? Sometimes people who have a hard time memorizing stuff, I'm going to say, just close your eyes and put your fingers right here on your temple. Okay? And your thumb right there where you can feel your heartbeat or your vocal cord when you speak. Okay? It's a different kind of frequency. And you can actually feel when you breathe. It's like a rush over. Lightly. Don't press hard. Okay? And it'll help with remembering. Again, people who are reaching a point in time, a place that resounds in you, okay, where they become capable. That means now you're able, okay? You're very able. You don't have to say try, okay? The attempt is not futile, it's beneficial, okay? Capable of breaking out of inherited collective mind patterns. Depends upon your circle, unless you choose some alone time to exercise even that thought, okay? People who are reaching a point where they become capable of breaking out of an inherited collective mind patterns, circle, family orientation, it is what it is. Pay attention. Patterns that have kept humans, not sea beasts, but it doesn't matter, have kept humans or sentient beings in bondage to suffering for eons. I draw your attention to what is false in you. I speak of the nature of human unconsciousness and dysfunction, as well as the most common behavioral manifestations, something that's learned, okay? From conflict in relationships to warfare between tribes or nations. Such knowledge is vital. Now, for unless you learn to recognize the false as false, you call a spade, and not just put it there and hang it and then do nothing with it. It must be discarded. It must be gotten rid of. Okay? As not you. So that means you learn to recognize the false, as not as you. Because it doesn't mean because you recognize it within you, it is not you. There can be no lasting transformation. You feel good. Remember I said that a couple of months ago? You'll feel good for a moment and then it's gone. Because you don't know how to not just ascertain it, but attain it and then convict yourself to it to find out what's on the other side. Excuse me. There can be no lasting transformation, and you would always end up being drawn back into illusion and into some form of pain that you, for eons in your existence, have capitulated to and increased. I speak of a profound I speak of a profound transformation of sentient consciousness, not as a distant future possibility, but available to you now. No matter who or where you are, You are shown how to free yourself from enslavement to the mind. Enter into this enlightened state of consciousness and sustain it in everyday life. Now remember, this is just introduction, but very profound. Let's go here. The words are not always concerned with information, but often designed to draw you into this new consciousness. So remember that. The words are not always concerned with information, but often designed to draw you into this new consciousness as you read, as you've gotten into this world, this life. Again and again, I endeavor to take you with me into that timeless state of intense conscious presence in the now, so as to give you a taste of enlightenment until you are able to experience what I speak of. You may find those passages somewhat repetitive, and it should be. As soon as you do, however, I believe you will realize that they contain a great deal of spiritual power, and they may become for you the most rewarding parts of this book. Now, moreover, since every person carries the seed of enlightenment within them, the burning bush, I often address myself to the knower in you who dwells behind the thinker. You're so much more than what you are. The deeper self that immediately recognizes spiritual truth resonates with it and gains strength from it. Now, this one right here was an open source for an eye opener as far as my narrative of the bullet point. But let's go over here to what I find very important. The mind always wants to categorize and compare. Rolodex, match like two different magazines talking about the same subject. Dumb media, if you go through all of them and you see them all, you will see that they are all handed a cheat sheet. But with you, it's paramount that you have your own self-conviction. Again, the mind always wants to categorize and compare. But this book will work better for you if you do not attempt to compare its terminology with that of other teachings. Let those be those. All right? Do not become part of the conundrum. You are a source of enlightenment and information. The thing is to be able to utilize it in its form. And then when you go to something else that doesn't require a requisite for you to do that, then you go ahead and maintain that with purpose for the benefit. You get me? The terminology with that of other teachings. Otherwise, you will probably become confused. Too much information on the Rolodex highway. I use words such as mind, happiness, and consciousness. Now, I should do that before I read because there are some words that I have a detest for. I detest. Yet, for the sake of reading and the penmanship of the author, I will start to use those words, and illustrate we can go ahead and recorrect them later. And most time, you know, quite often, words are spells. I use words such as mind, happiness, and consciousness in ways that do not necessarily correlate with other teachings. Don't get attached to any words. They are only stepping stones to be left behind as quickly as possible. So be mindful of that. Always be mindful of that, okay? So in chapter 1, you are not your mind, and the greatest obstacle to enlightenment. I want to start off because I find it, in the beginning I was going to add this, but I find it paramount. It's paramount. It's indicative that I should. A beggar, it's a story. Gas. A beggar had been sitting by the side of a road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by. "Spare some change?" mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. And I replied, "I have nothing to give you," as the stranger states. Then he asked, "What's that you are sitting on?" The stranger does. And the beggar replied, "Nothing. Just an old box. I have been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." "Ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Have a look inside," insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid, and with astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. I had to highlight this differently. Listen to this. I am that stranger who has nothing to give you. and who is telling you to look inside. Not inside any box, as in the parable, but somewhere even closer, inside yourself. There lays gold. Those who have not found their true wealth, which is the radiant joy of being and the deep, unshakable peace that comes with it, are beggars. Even if they have great material wealth, they are looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, or love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer. You take you when you die. This and everything else, it doesn't come with you. Let's say you have to do it all over again. Let's not talk. Let's not give that energy. But hypothetically, you can be in a number of places, getting your head cut off, in another realm, baby again, being abused, this, that, and other, with purpose and negating negativity. Or you could be, on the other hand, ignorant, with all things afforded and still empty. Now, this I put in quotations. The word enlightenment conjures up the idea of something superhuman, some superhuman accomplishment. And the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being, even in ignorance. It is a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that almost paradoxically is essentially you and yet is much greater than you. It is finding your true nature beyond name and form. The inability to feel this connectedness, gives rise to the illusion of separation from yourself and from the world around you. Again, the inability to feel this connectedness to the truth. Okay? I mean, beyond name and form, people. Gives rise to the illusion of separation. And it's an illusion. It's a lie. From yourself and from the world around you. The illusion is that you believe you can escape the lie when you have not put the work in to allow yourself to avoid, until you capitulate to your truth and no further the lie. As an isolated fragment, fear arises and conflict within and without becomes the norm. Are you not dealing with that? Asterisk. I love the Buddha's simple definition of enlightenment as the end of suffering. There is nothing superhuman in that, is there? Of course, as a definition, it is incomplete. I want you to pay attention now. It only tells you what enlightenment is not. No suffering. But what's left when there is no more suffering? Now, you would think that you have to have suffering. That's what the world taught you. Pain and suffering, right? Or pleasure. There is no. Pay attention. Stop believing in that lie. There is no more suffering. Questionable, right? The Buddha is silent on that. And his silence implies that you'll have to find out for yourself. He uses a negative definition so that the mind cannot make it into something to believe in or into a superhuman accomplishment. So that way it strips away ego. You become humble and silent. And what you find on that journey, if you choose to go further, is not meant for everyone. You remember Matrix, the Oracle, Neo, and she told me it was for him. Not for nobody else. A goal that is impossible for you to attain. All right? So something to believe in or into a superhuman accomplishment. You cannot make it so. A goal that is impossible for you to attain. It's not real. Despite this precaution, the majority of Buddhists still believe that enlightenment is for the Buddha, not for them. At least not in this lifetime. If they would stop allowing themselves self-persecution, believing that it's only for the Buddha outside instead of eternal as they have trained, then the enlightenment would truly be theirs and not those based on ego who would reciprocate, huh, that guy's good. He's really good. You saw him set himself, he set himself on fire and he ain't scream out or nothing. That's stroking an ego that really doesn't exist. Whatever they found out is for them. You have yet to do that because you stroke your own ego. Who could say it better? Who has the best terminology? You see it on YouTube. People battling and fighting. When I was talking about when I was talking about the Passport Brothers, I was speaking on a truth compared to what's relevant to in the real world. People are not mindful. They bring this aptitude of an attitude of a dark place in a box, and they go somewhere without knowing because they never took the time to actually pay attention to how they move, and they subjugate themselves to a term that has nothing to do with truth. But the fiction they live, they deal with the consequences that it deals in that fiction. Point made, being is the eternal, ever-present, one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. Again, being is the eternal. Being, the sentient, is the eternal, ever-present, one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. That's what the enemy created. And you don't have to give the enemy a narrative, paint a portrait, or feed them energy. So what? However, being is not only beyond, but also deep within every form as its innermost, invisible, and indestructible essence. They can't take it. They can't keep it. They cannot control it. Why must you keep it in this small little place, not knowing that it's radiating all around you? You just have not stepped into it. This means that it is accessible to you now as your own deepest self, your true nature. But don't seek to grasp it with your mind. You cannot do that. It's a Rolodex. Don't try to understand it. Please don't. You can know it only when the mind is still. One with it. Where it is still, it doesn't go nowhere. It's indestructible. When you are present, when your attention is fully and intensely in the now, being can be felt, but it can never be understood or understood mentally. To regain awareness of being and to abide in that state of feeling, realization is enlightenment. So when you say being, are you talking about God? If you are, then why don't you say it? This is a question most would ponder. The word God has become empty of meaning through thousands of years of time and misuse as you have become empty. You see the correlation? Do you see the breath as above, as below? I use it sometimes, but I do so sparingly because egos swamp that. I made that mistake. By misuse, I mean that people who have never even glimpsed the realm of the sacred, the infinite vastness beyond or behind that word, use it with great conviction as if they know what they are talking about, or they argue against it as if they knew what it is that they are denying. This misuse gives rise to absurd beliefs, assertions, and egoic delusions. Ego-like, okay? Such as my or our God is the only true God, and your God is false. Or Nietzsche's famous statement, God is dead. The word God has become a closed concept as the mind. The mind is not in the head, people. The moment the word is uttered, a mental image is created, no longer perhaps of an old man with a white beard that was painted and beaten into you. For, you know what I mean? Repetitively. So it doesn't allow you to perceive anything else. Everything is outside of you. Of an old man with a white beard, but still a mental representation of someone or something outside of you. And yes, almost inevitably, a male, someone or something. Remove that. Male or female. And if you do, you will be on the grazing plains of tilling the soil. Do you know what I mean by that? Neither God nor being nor any other word can define or explain the ineffable, and I hate this word, that which cannot be explained. There's no need to. Remember I went over this months ago about natural order. They have to destroy it because they don't have a deep understanding of it. And it's conflicting. It goes against everything against them. It is outside of their tyrannical obesity of inflated this mannerism. So the only important question is whether the word is a help or a hindrance in enabling you to experience that toward which it points. Does it point beyond itself to that transcendental reality or realm, or does it lend itself too easily to becoming no more than an idea in your head that you believe in, a mental item? I got to put a what you call by that. I thought it would be good, bullet point, because I read this. RD. I dated because it's poignant. It is beyond the scope of reason. This that I read is something that I'm putting I'm making it an X, which I think is I'll show you what I'm doing to it. Okay. What you see the lizards? Do not mess with the lizards, okay? Do not. So I made a cross. I made an X on it, so that way I said I'm gonna come back to it down the road. I just wanted to share that with you. And there's so much more in this book, man. And it's just a book. It's how it's worded and how it may be contemptuous. It may not be have you contemporary. It might be something to have you focus. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to share that because regardless of what and who or how, I'm going to reach a certain number. I don't really want to be dismissive to everything. And when I was reading last, and yesterday, it was heavy on my mind, and it's a good heavy. One I put there. There are some things that are going to work to benefit many others. When I would just turn my back to them, I'm dead serious. I would quickly turn my back to some of you who would never get it. And I chose not to. I said there has to be something. And there's 2 other books. And if it's still conflicting and people need more rationale, because I don't have answers. All right? You have to step into your truth. No one can make you. You have to walk beside me. Jamel, what's up, beloved? What's happening? Benji, it's good to have you up in here, guys. Yes. I hope that was a good reading. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Oh, I really do. Because I hope it may be practical for some. All right, and I'm going to shut this down. I'm studying Mandarin and Cantonese. I think I'm going to stick with just the Mandarin right now. I'm not going to Hong Kong. It's been a long time. So I'm working on my Mandarin, of course, Japanese, and dusting up my German. And you can do multiple things. Never say never. And do not equip yourself with don't. My apologies. Okay? Have to allow. You have to first permit, then allow. You have to take heed. Take heed. Permit, then allow. You must know, follow, take heed, permit, and allow. Okay? On the battlefield is acquisition. Acquire it and send it. Fire. That's to negate negativity, regardless of what it accomplishes. It's not good. And in reverse, you must do that with self. All right? So I really hope that assisted you. I'm not going to say no more. I'm the second one who came in on. I know, baby. I thought you were going to beat him because I called him. I attempted to call you. Anyway, I don't know if y'all made donations. I'll look tomorrow if you did. I think I shouted out everybody. UPS pulled out of here, so obviously it wasn't nothing for me. I do have books coming to the door, and I told you it would take a while. I know I'm still off, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this old engine. Of course, there's so much more. Yet, baby steps. They're the most beautiful thing. They're the most beautiful. I'm not going to say be less. The most beautiful reacquaintance. Anytime I see a baby walk, I am elated and enlightened. All right? So see you guys in the morning.